Regardless if someone chooses to go into sex work or not, it is still a dangerous profession for many people around the world. And if you listen to some of the feminists who have opinions on this matter, you would see that their supposed solution to fixing the problems inherent with sex work is to abolish it. Now, I'm not exactly the smartest person on the planet, but how exactly does removing the only source of income that many of these people have help them? If you ask me, that seems a bit, counterproductive. Instead, why don't we try fighting for what many sex workers themselves have been saying is the solution to the problems with sex work? Rather than going for the abolishment of it, instead, hey, sex work abolishing feminists, watch out. Big word coming your way. Hope you can keep up. Instead, we should fight for the dun 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 decriminalization of sex work. Mind blown. Decriminalization of sex work would allow for sex work to be seen as a legitimate business. Right now, sex workers can't join labor unions. They can't go to the police because their work is illegal. Okay, so they have no means of protecting themselves against domestic violence or clients that are too rough with them or clients that beat them up, clients that threaten to kill them. They don't have any protection against HIV or AIDS because they don't have any health benefits since it's not seen as a legitimate business. But once it is seen as a legitimate business, all of these things would now be available to sex workers. They could have health benefits. They could have even 401ks if we went that far. They would have the ability to go to the police because no longer is their work seen as a crime. Instead, it's an actual business, and if someone acts up, they can go to the cops. Done. It makes sense. You know, you're not going to get rid of sex work. It's a reason why it's called the world's oldest profession. It's been here since the dawn of time. The best thing that we can do is, one, admit that it's not going to go away even if we try to abolish it. And two, since we admit that it's going to be here regardless, try to at least make it a safe and healthy place to work. And I want to have a word with all these feminists who want to abolish it. I really have to ask you something, okay? Let's be real for a second. Are you wanting to abolish sex work because you're worried about the sex workers themselves? Or is it because you yourself are morally bothered by the idea of sex work? Or maybe it's because you're conflating the idea of sex work with the very morbid reality of sex trafficking. Because if that's what you're doing, let me just put the halt on that right now, okay? Sex work and sex trafficking are two totally different things. While sex trafficking is indeed a morally reprehensible act and needs to be stopped at all costs, it is not sex work. And putting those two together in the same category does a disservice to those individuals that I mentioned in the last video who choose to go into sex work. They weren't trafficked into the job, they chose it. And that needs to be taken into consideration. It's why decriminalization is the better way to go, because it gives sex workers more power. More power to take care of themselves. More power to combat against the unhealthy and dangerous aspects of their line of work. That is a much better solution. Abolishment doesn't fucking help them. It doesn't help them. Decriminalization is absolutely the way to go. Once we see sex work as an actual business, all of those dangerous stigmas and stereotypes will start to slowly fade away. They will start to slowly fade away, because part of the problem with sex work, especially with how it's seen in the media, is that because it's behind closed doors, a lot of people have misconceptions that are exacerbated by popular media. Even shows like Law and Order, as much as I love Law and Order, sometimes their depictions of sex workers make me cringe because they get it totally wrong. And they depict sex workers in a way that dehumanizes them. Once sex work is seen as a legitimate business, they will be rehumanized. And it's a horrible way to say it, but yes, they will be rehumanized. They will be seen as humans once again. People who need to be protected, who deserve protection, and now, once it's decriminalized, have the power to protect themselves and others. It's simple. It's just that simple. It really is. Anyone who bothers to do a 5-minute Google search on the decriminalization of sex work will see that I am right, and that these sex workers who know what the they're talking about and know what works best for them know what they're talking about. Abolishing sex work does not help, but decriminalizing it does. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit the little like button because it really does help, and subscribe for future uploads. If you've got any questions or comments, please put them down below in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching. Mwah! See ya!